way. We met in 1980. And I remember back in the early days of the Inside Edge, I would tell Paul, my late husband, Paul von Wellenetz, who helped founded the Inside Edge, that she was my favorite speaker to listen to because of her charisma and her clarity and the way she presented information that you could really just absorb it. And so on my preparation list on Sunday morning, I wanted to review her book, her fabulous book, Soul Shifts. And I went to my favorite shelf where I only have a few books that are my favorite books in the world. And I thought I would just review the highlights. But I had a big surprise because when I opened it up, the whole thing is highlighted. It is one of the most dog-eared books you've ever seen. I used to see people have my cookbooks that were all gravy splattered, and it would be so flattering. But Barbara should know that this book is just the most amazing thing. She's written a number of #1 New York Times bestsellers, but this truly is her master work. And we are so very, very honored to welcome Dr. Barbara Angelis to be our speaker today. Barbara, will you join us with your picture and take over?
Thank you, Diana. I'm so happy to be here with you. It's shocking to think about how many years we've known each other. It's amazing to think about the thousands and thousands and thousands of people you've touched and the Inside Edge has touched through all of the meetings. I told Diana that at this point, particularly in my life and my career, she is the only person I would get up for and give a talk this early. And that's not an exaggeration. I really mean it. She's absolutely the only person. So I'm honored and thrilled to be here with you and the vortex that is the Inside Edge, that is taking all of the love and the light and everything else from inside and vibrating it out to the world, especially in these times. And I want to welcome all of you who are here, those of you who I know. I can see many names I recognize, my students and fans, those of you who I don't know, those of you who are called and were called to be here, those of you who perhaps a friend told about. It is such a powerful and important time for us all to be gathered, to be here to vibrate out love and light and healing and consciousness to the world, especially now more than ever. So from my highest heart to yours, I welcome you. From my highest heart, I honor you as a great seeker. You may think she must not know me. How can she say I'm a great seeker? I know you're a great seeker because you made a choice this morning to be awake, to be here, to have a reunion with your highest, with your own self. And I always think of any talk, event, seminar, experience like this as a pilgrimage. Instead of thinking about yourself as sitting back and listening, think about the fact that by just being here, you're taking your own pilgrimage. It's a beautiful word. A pilgrimage is something that we do. Most people think of an outer pilgrimage like to India or to Peru or to a great cathedral or to the mountains somewhere. And it's always to some kind of sacred destination. And the hope when we take a pilgrimage is that something will happen when we get there. We will take something away with us. We will come back transformed, and we'll leave something there that we don't need. We'll leave ignorance, or we'll leave fear, or we'll leave self-doubt. So there's both something we want to gain, something we want to let go of. And this pilgrimage today, like all pilgrimages you take when you do any work on yourself, has an inner destination. And that inner destination is inside of you. It's a reunion with more of you, your wholeness, your highest, your love, your wisdom, all there waiting for you. There's nothing missing in us. We just have to reconnect back to what's been covered up. It's like a great treasure hunt for our soul. And so today, I am so happy you made the choice to be here, to hear me, to see me. But really, I want to invite you to see yourself. You're here to see you, not me. You're here to hear from yourself, not me. You're here to gain wisdom from within you, not me. And that's really what a soul shift is. And I do want to start with honoring you, because if you could think about everyone whose picture is up, everyone whose name is on your screen, and you could add up the thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of reading, therapy, events, chanting, meditation, going to church, affirmations, healing. You are in the company right now, whether you know it or not, of great seekers. Seekers of truth, seekers of wisdom, seekers of clarity. And I honor you for the journey, whatever your journey has been to take you to this moment. The fact that you've even been on a journey, that you understand that, makes you one of the tiny, tiny, tiny percentage of people in this world. I believe, if you're listening right now, that once you made a promise to wake up in this lifetime, to remember why you were here, who you are, to remember that you're here to do something, to make a difference, to uplift everybody else. I call it in soul shifts, the cosmic alarm clock goes off. Something inside of us says, wait a minute, I'm supposed to do something. I'm supposed to learn something. I'm supposed to heal something. And your journey begins. Who set that alarm clock? You did. Your soul did. This is the beginning of the Great Awakening. And I want you to just think for a minute, no matter what's going on in your life right now, and all of us have been going through one of the most challenging times, one of the most triggering times, one of the times that makes us question so much. But no matter what is happening in you right now, just take this moment to honor yourself for being a seeker. Today, right at this second, millions of people all over the world are choosing unconsciousness. They're literally choosing to be unconscious, to not see, to not feel, to not understand, to not pay attention to each other, to not love, to not wear a mask, to not be awake. Or they're planning to go unconscious this weekend and figuring out what bar they can go to do that. You made a choice this morning to be conscious. It doesn't matter what else is happening. Just that thought, you made a choice to wake up. And just imagine if everybody in the world would have woken up this morning and said, I want to spend an hour contemplating myself. I want to have a soul shift. This has been my vision since I was very, very young and started my own path. Imagining what could happen if more people woke up, which to me is the whole point of being on this planet. So I honor you, and I want you to honor yourself, which we don't do enough. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later. And one of my favorite quotes of my own, and I'm laughing, and thank you, Diana, for the beautiful things you said about my books. I love seeing my book all marked up. It is a badge of honor to see that. But one of my, I'm laughing because when I began speaking, and I would take out one of my books and I would read a quote from it. And I'd say, I'm going to read a beautiful quote, and people would think I was going to quote Plato or something, and it would be me. And I said, if I can't quote myself, I have no business writing books. This is beautiful. Plus, what I write comes not from me, but through me. But I wanted to offer you this. This is from one of my books. And it says, our responsibility as conscious beings, sincere seekers, and planetary transformers is to rebirth ourselves over and over and over again. Our responsibility as conscious beings, sincere seekers, and planetary transformers is to rebirth ourselves, not just once, over and over and over again. This is a beautiful way to think about it, that it's our responsibility to keep waking up, to grow, to heal, to expand, to come back to wholeness. Why? because I believe that's the soul contract all of us made, if you're listening to me, if you've been a seeker. And responsibility is a great word, because it's not always easy to grow. It's not always easy to look within. It's not always easy to discover the ways that we have not been in our highest self. But it's essential, because it's by doing that, making those deep shifts inside, that we can really shift ourselves on the outside and serve the planet. And I always believe that great seekers, and I'm talking to you, have, since they were young, been asking themselves what I call the sacred questions. The sacred questions. The sacred questions are things like, who am I? What am I doing here? What am I supposed to be doing? Why is it sometimes I'm in my highest, I feel so loving and open, and sometimes I just feel lost and disconnected? Why can't I hold that state all the time? Why are so many people so unkind? What can I do? Can I even make a difference? You may think, well, of course everyone asks those questions, but they do not. You ask them. You've asked them, because you're an old soul. Most people don't ask them. If they did ask them, the world would look very, very different right now. And now more than ever, and I've been saying this for the last 5 years, we are, as seekers, called to rise up even more. And this is one of my messages for you this morning. No matter how much you've been growing, you can grow more. No matter how much you've seen about yourself, you can see more. No matter how much you've healed, you can heal more deeply. No matter how much you think you love, you can love more fully. You can rise higher. This is the time. This is the moment. It is needed. This isn't just something that's happening in the world because of a virus. This is a real time of light and darkness, and all of us being forced to look within, to make powerful changes, to realize how connected everything is, no matter what. And now more than ever, I think it's time to wake up and stay awake. And this is my life. This is what I've done for people for decades, lots of decades and decades at this point, to support people in their process of transformation, to be at the bridge when people want to cross over into more consciousness, to support them in waking up and staying awake. And that's my promise, the promise that I made about coming into this life. And Diana said beautiful things about me, and many times people will say, well, you know, how do you define yourself? You know, are you a writer? You're a teacher, you teach about speaking, you teach about this, you have TV shows, all those things. And the truth is, my strongest identity is that I'm a mystic, a mystic. A mystic means that I like to deal with the invisible, that I understand the invisible. The invisible meaning the world within us, what it is that structures our consciousness. I've always been fascinated by and pulled to the inner world, even from the time I was a child. And I didn't even know what a path was, what a mystic was, what transformation was. But I knew and I could feel there was something that I was supposed to find, something that I was supposed to be, something I was supposed to unfold inside. And I was asking all those sacred questions, even when I was very young. It was really frustrating. And this was in the 1950s and 60s. I was born in 1951. You can do the math. But I didn't just want wisdom. I wanted, transformation. I didn't just want to change. I wanted really powerful shifts. And I was never seeking fame. I was never seeking to be well known. I was never interested in trying to make money. I wanted freedom. I wanted emotional freedom. I wanted spiritual freedom. And fortunately for me, when I was 18, I saw a poster that said, "Learn to meditate," at the University of Wisconsin, my first week there. It was a picture of a beautiful Indian man with long white hair and a beard. And I didn't know anything about meditation. I didn't know anything about India. I didn't know anything about anything. But the minute I saw it and it said, go within and everything will unfold, I said, that's it. And my path began. I became a meditation teacher. And for many, many years, long before I did this, I was in a process of very intense, deep spiritual work on myself. I didn't start teaching in this way until I was in my 30s. And I spent my 20s in years and years of meditation and spiritual practice. And only as time went on did I realize, what I had been preparing for. And I believe we're all have been prepared for this time right now. There is a huge acceleration and shift happening on the planet. And in the short time I have, I want to offer you some keys, some understanding, some ways to recalibrate your thinking about yourself and about the journey, the spiritual journey. I could talk about this for thousands of hours. I do with all my students, but I want to give you just some beautiful little treasures to take with you that can help you feel more, understand more, see more. And I call this practical spirituality. Practical spirituality. Things that will help you understand the mechanics of transformation, the mechanics of growth, the mechanics of your own process. Why sometimes do you feel one way? Why sometimes do you feel another way? And I want to introduce you to a term that I talk about in soul shifts and teach a lot about. And it's something you might be feeling. And I call it the divine discomfort. The divine discomfort. When I first came up with this term, and I would be speaking to thousands of people sponsored by different events, Hay House, my publisher, and I'd say, how many of you have divine discomfort? And people didn't even know what it was, but they would raise their hand. They'd say, it sounds like something, and explain it to me. Divine discomfort. I think a lot of us have symptoms of divine discomfort and we don't even know what it is. What does that mean? It means a feeling of inner restlessness, a feeling of having experienced things, gotten things, done things, that feel like there's something missing. There's something more that needs to be happening. Sometimes a feeling of not being able to get your bearings, feeling you're not in the right place, you're not doing the right thing, that there's something you're supposed to see, but you're not sure what it is. Doubting even the very things sometimes that you've been doing. And feeling just an inner agitation that you can't really place that has to do with anything. It's more than what's happening on the outside, even now. The divine discomfort is something that I believe happens to seekers, to kind of push you into more spiritual velocity. When there's movement and growth and revelations waiting for you, you will feel what I call the divine discomfort. And it's not about anything on the outside. It's about you on the inside. It's your own higher self calling to you to grow, to shift, to heal, to come back to more wholeness, to release things that are not serving you. It's that place inside of an inner agitation. And sometimes what happens when we feel that is we misinterpret it. We say, I must be going through a depression where everything in my life seems fine, except why am I unhappy? Maybe I need to make some huge change. But I want to have you contemplate that it might be the divine discomfort. And instead of thinking something's wrong, you can say to yourself, I'm experiencing a lot of spiritual velocity. If you were sitting in a boat and it was going very slowly, maybe a little motorboat, and it was just paddling along the surface of the water, and you'd be very comfortable. But imagine if that boat got revved up to full speed and started speeding through the water. Your hair is flying and there's water all over the place. You're holding on. That's velocity. That's what I believe is happening to a lot of us. That is something I believe may have been happening to you. Not on the outside, but on the inside. When things speed up, we need to hold on. We need to understand where we're going. We need to not tell ourselves something bad is happening, but understand that there has been an increase in velocity, and that is absolutely what's happening on the planet right now. So if you've been feeling that, then instead of thinking, something's wrong, I'm a mess, you can say, I'm experiencing a lot of spiritual velocity. When your friend calls you and says, how are you? You can say, I'm experiencing a lot of spiritual velocity today. And I absolutely bet you are. It's important when you're going through a lot of times of change and challenge to not see them as something wrong. Times of questioning, times of contemplation, times of revisiting your life, times of reconsidering things are sacred times. They are not moments of weakness. They are not moments of failure. In our society, we many times have this thought that we're supposed to figure everything out, get it set, live that way, and then that's the end of our life. Great seekers have always understood questions as the keys to open new doors. So I wanted to offer you, if you're questioning, thinking, feeling any inner agitation, know that moments of questioning are not moments of failure. They're not moments of weakness. They're moments of clarity. They're moments of wakefulness. They're something in you demanding more authenticity from you, more wholeness. There are times in our life on the path when our questions are more numerous than the answers. Many times we think of those times as not good times. We want to have everything figured out, under control, etc. Times of questioning are the sacred times. It's not that we're lost. We just don't understand the scenery because we're moving fast. And once we start to integrate, we'll understand more about that journey. So I honor you for asking those sacred questions. I honor you for being patient and waiting for the answers. They do reveal themselves, but it's so important to not get confused in the process. And this brings me to the whole idea of soul shifts. What are soul shifts? I came up with this phrase when I wrote my book, Soul Shifts, and I was thinking about that thing that happens inside of us, the place where all transformation actually can happen. The only place it can happen is when we make a shift from the inside out, not a shift in thinking, a shift in consciousness, not a shift in how we're living particularly, but a shift inside that nothing and no one can take away from us. It does not go backwards. We can't lose it. It's not concentration. It's not an affirmation. And you've all had soul shifts, something in your life that has awakened you to something. But many times we think that these are random. Something happens to us, or we have to go away in a long retreat, or we have an illness and we have a revelation afterwards. And we start to feel like, yes, we've had moments of being in our highest, but then we have all those other moments. So you've all had peak experiences. You've all had moments when you feel more loving, more connected, more wise. And then you've had the other things on the end of the spectrum and everything in between. Why sometimes are you in your highest and sometimes you're not? Why sometimes do you feel like you understand things and sometimes you don't? Why is it sometimes you can access the greatest part of you and sometimes it seems that you're accessing all of your patterns and baggage? There's a reason for this. It's not just accidental. And one of the things I talk about in Soul Shifts is that we can not just wait for a moment when we're uplifted, but that there are conditions for awakening. I call them conditions for awakening. Conditions for awakening means formulas for mastery, things that you can do, things that you can understand that, and I'm going to mention a few of them in a moment, that can help you live more in your highest, live more in your wholeness, live more in your wisdom. They're not just peak experiences. And those are soul shifts, shifts vibrationally on the inside. Now, the problem is that most of us are taught, and this is Western civilization as well, that to change, to grow, to feel powerful, we have to get everything in control on the outside. And that means manage everything. And so we're trying to manage how we feel, manage other people, manage what's going on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And when we're trying to manage everything, trying to control everything, we're in a losing battle. I love the analogy of whack-a-mole, that game where the little mole pops up in a hole, like in an amusement park, and you have to hit it down, or in the movie Caddyshack, you think you've gotten something under control, and it pops up over here. This is what happens to all of us in our life. We finally think we have everything settled, the kids are finally this way, we finally handled something, and we say, okay, everything's finally under control. And all of a sudden, something else changes, something else shifts, something else challenges us. And we feel we have to then exert even more control over it. Management is something we do from the outside. This soul shift that I want you to just contemplate is how to shift from management to mastery. Mastery happens on the inside. It is the opposite of management. Management is trying to control, scrambling to get everything under control, people under control, having rules, watching everything, collecting evidence, judging yourself all the time, going up, down, up, down. Mastery is connecting to your inner wisdom, connecting to the flow of things, being able to tune in, being able to move without judging yourself through your ups and downs and learn from them, to understand that your power has nothing to do with controlling things on the outside. Things happen to us every single day. Today, things, after we finish, things are going to happen to you. They're out of your control. They have to do with other people. They have to do with circumstances, like what we're all going through right now with a worldwide pandemic. It wasn't something you asked for, it's happening to you. So what I always teach my students is one of the great soul shifts we can have is, instead of saying every day, what's happening to me today? Meaning, what did someone do to me? What didn't go right? What are the challenges? What's happening in me? Isn't this a beautiful thing? Instead of what's happening to me, what's happening in me? Meaning, how am I reacting to what's happening to me? Your partner is not in a great mood. Somebody disappoints you by doing something that they're doing. You were hoping for something to happen, and then things changed. You could say, oh God, I've had a horrible day. These things happen to me. Yes, they happen. Every day things are going to happen. What's happening in you? How are you choosing to react to those things? Your mastery, your soul accomplishment, your consciousness has nothing to do with what's happening to you on the outside. It has to do with what's happening on the inside. That's what mastery actually means. What's happening to me? Even today, you can practice this. You can think about this week. It's one of the great techniques. Whenever anything's going on, you can say, what's happening to me? My daughter did this. This person did this. What's happening in me? What choices am I making in me? I'm choosing to be angry. I'm choosing to blame that person. I'm choosing to feel like a victim. That is where your power is. That's where you can have tremendous shifts that will change everything on the outside. And this is one of the most important things that I can offer you to begin to think about, to shift from what's happening to you to what's happening in you. The other soul shift I wanted to offer you is to understand the difference between performance and presence. Performance and presence. Diana was complimenting me before about saying that even back then I had charisma. What does charisma actually mean? All of us are trying to always perform, to do things to get people to like us, to get approval, to please, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And to try to do well. That's performance. But we can't stop at trying to have excellence in what we're doing. We have to understand that it's our presence that's actually communicating to people way more than our performance. And that means, how are you vibrating? We're all vibrating all the time. What we're saying is one thing. How we're vibrating is another. I always say when I teach communication, you're always talking, whether your mouth is open or not. You're always communicating. You can't package your presence. Your presence is the sum total of all of your thoughts, all of your feelings, how much you've healed, how much emotional baggage you have. You can't fake presence. Presence is that light that illuminates what you do and who you are and what you say. That presence, understanding that the more you heal, the more you are in alignment with yourself, in integrity, the more authentic you are, you're going to be vibrating out all the things that you want. That's going to illuminate everything you do. And presence can only come from making those soul shifts, from understanding that you're always making a difference. You may think, well, I'd like to do something that makes a difference in life. You're already making a difference. All of us make a difference. You can't help it. Just how you're vibrating in your house is affecting the planet. How you talk, how you move, what you say or don't say has nothing to do with it. It's much more what's happening inside of you. And I call this having vibrational credibility. I love this phrase that I came up with, vibrational credibility. You know, we all have our, CV and our list and our bios and credentials. Your greatest credential, your soul credential, is your vibrational credibility. That means the coherence between what you say and who you are. It means how you're vibrating, not just how you're showing up. How am I vibrating today? What am I broadcasting to the world from the inside? Again, these are great soul shift questions. I'm giving you a very short version of all of these things. Presence. Your presence is the culmination of all the thoughts you have, all the emotions. And by the way, you can't get your presence together at the last minute. It's just the combination of things that has been there for a while. Presence. So this is a beautiful thing to think about. How can I shift so that my presence uplifts others, is a blessing to others, makes others feel safe, helps others, invites others to go into their highest. This is one of the most beautiful things that we can think about. And that requires authenticity, living with authenticity. I want to read you one of my quotes about authenticity. It says, living with authenticity means who you appear to be to others is who you really are. Your beliefs, your values, your commitments, your inner realities are all reflected in how you live your life on the outside. The more you live authentically as who you truly are, the more peace you'll experience. So this is a whole contemplation. You can ask yourself again, what would it mean for me to live more authentically? And I talk a lot about this, but it's just something important to be thinking about. What would have to change for you to be living more authentically? It's a really important contemplation. And finally, I want to just introduce the idea to you of soul accomplishments. Soul accomplishments. We measure our lives so much in what we do, what we've accomplished, what we've acquired, how successful we've been, or how successful people we love have been. But the truth is, I believe we're here for something else. What if your purpose of your life journey, your cosmic curriculum, was not about getting or doing anything on the outside? And I want to read you something about what a soul accomplishment is. And this is one of the most powerful things, and just contemplate this. What if from the highest vantage point of consciousness, the purpose of your journey is not for you to become anything, to get anything, or acquire anything, but rather the purpose is to transcend your limitations and heal those things that have made you forget who you are, an individual expression of love and light. What if you're here on this planet right now to gather and acquire the wisdom that will elevate and uplift your soul so that every day you can say, I am wiser than I was yesterday. I see more clearly than I saw yesterday. I understand more than I saw yesterday. What if your true accomplishments happen in your character, in your heart, and in your soul, and they can't be measured by the constructs of the world? See, what if every day your soul goal, you had lots of goals, you have goals for today, but what if your highest goal, your soul goal, was today, I want to live as the most awakened, loving human being I can be. I want to wake up and stay awake and be more awake at the end of the day than I was when the day began. Today, I want to live as the most awakened, loving human being I can be. This is a soul accomplishment. You can't control other things. You can't control people. So the shift from understanding and honoring your soul accomplishments, to me, is the path to freedom, to joy, and to peace. What is a soul accomplishment? We're going to have some time after our little break to have you contemplate these in some breakout rooms. A soul accomplishment is something that you experience and you know the reward is lasting. It's something no one can take away from you, ever. A soul accomplishment is something that happens on the inside. For instance, today I saw something about myself that I didn't want to face, but I kept looking at it to understand it, even though it was painful. That's a soul accomplishment. Today I had compassion for somebody I would have judged, but I allowed myself to feel what they were feeling and had this amazing connection. Today, I realized I was shutting off and pulling away from somebody I loved, and I stopped and I chose to reach out. Today, I noticed I was collecting evidence against myself and judging myself. I remembered to have compassion for me. Soul accomplishments that occur on the inside of you every day that move you along in your awakening, on your soul journey. One day, you're going to have a great day. One day, you're not going to have a great day. One day, things will be calm. Another day, things will not be calm. If you evaluate who you are based on the outer events of your life, you won't feel peace. You'll be going up and down all the time. So what if instead of doing more, I don't mean you shouldn't do things. I do lots of things. But what if instead of thinking you'll be happier if you do something different or do something more, if you shifted from not getting more to being more, being more, being more loving, being more of who you are, being more present. This is understanding what it really means, I think, to be awakened. You all have soul accomplishments. I'm going to share some of mine and give you some ideas of what those might be before we have our breakouts a little later. But understand that you have already, and even in this moment, one of your great soul accomplishments is listening, opening, considering what I'm saying, being here, starting your day by being willing to open, to see, to grow, and to shift. There's so much more I want to say, but I want to offer a little meditation for you right now. And then we will take our break and then we'll come back and do some more. So if you can right now, wherever you are, you can close your eyes. We're going to put on some beautiful music. So just close your eyes if you can, if you have that quiet space. And just take some deep breaths. And just allow your body to relax. And know that even in this moment, this very moment, You've been serving the planet. You've been serving the planet by how you listen, by how you feel. You've been serving the planet by waking up. And so I want to have you listen and with me, imagine that we're going to offer the planet blessings right now. This is my Soul Shifts blessing prayer for the planet. You can visualize our earth right now. You can visualize our earth. Imagine surrounding it with your arms, with your heart, because it needs our blessings right now. I offer my blessings to the planet Earth, my home while I am in this body. May grace now shower upon the world and restore it. May all who suffer now be comforted and healed. May all who are oppressed now be liberated and their dignity redeemed. May all, everywhere, who are lost in forgetfulness now awaken from the great sleep and return to remembrance. May all beings now live together in perfect harmony and health. May all souls now align with their highest. May all souls now find their way back to love, and may that love be all that is. May the one perfect light now triumph over all darkness, in all people, in all places seen and unseen. And may the one perfect light prevail for all time. May there be peace. May there be peace. May there be peace. And these are my highest blessings for you. Receive them from my heart to you. May you remember who you truly are as a soul and what you are here to do in this body, in this life, and at this time on earth. May all of your sincere intentions for freedom, for healing, and for liberation be received and sanctified by grace. May all obstacles within you and without be now removed so that light may enter. May you bravely shift your way back to wholeness. May you be free from suffering. May you be at peace. May you be a blessing to the world and to everyone you meet, wherever you go, whatever you do, in each and every moment. May people thank God for you. May you live in such a way that you become the gift, the hope, the miracle, the blessing, and the love to your family, your friends, and the world. May the highest light in you shine like an eternal sun, so brightly that you yourself are dazzled by its brilliance. And may you know yourself as that light. And remember that you are already nothing but that light. Only light. May you awaken. May you awaken. May you awaken. May you travel knowing you are not alone. Love and grace for your ever present. Thank you for keeping your appointment with me, allowing me to serve.
Right now, I'm going to put it on gallery view so I can see everybody. Fantastic. I want to share with you, I can't tell you how excited I am about our June calendar. It is going to be amazing. And those of you who are here for the first time, You can use the code SPRING 2020 and get $10 off attending another time. You can attend a few times before actually joining. So we're just absolutely thrilled that we have such a great audience today. On June 3rd, we're having Dr. Clint Rogers, and he is the author of a book that is destined to be a huge blockbuster. They've set a goal of selling 108,000 copies of this book in the first week. And Jack Canfield, among others, are helping him do this. His new book is called Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer, a Western Skeptic, an Eastern Master, and Life's Greatest Secrets. And I know we're in for a huge treat with that. We're doing something every week. In person, we were only meeting every 2 weeks, but I can get better speakers easier without them having to come to Orange County and sit there in person and take a flight and everything. So on June 10th, we have Greg Lavoie. I'm sure many of you know who he is. He's the author of a book called Callings, which has been one of my favorite books over the years. And he's talking on the subject of the coronavirus as a calling. On June 24th, we have Jean Shinoda Boland. She's written many best-selling books. I think the first one was Goddesses in Every Woman, but she has 10, 12 other books. And she's going to be talking to us on a subject I love, which is crisis as danger and opportunity. I don't know if you know that the Chinese ideogram for crisis combines two different ideograms that are danger and opportunity. And I remember pondering this when my late husband Paul and I were in Russia, and when the idea for the Inside Edge came to us, that we were way out on the edge and terrified where we were and what we were doing, and yet all the opportunities that sprang forth during that, just by putting ourselves out on the edge. And then I think that's it for June 24th. Okay.
I'm here. Hi. I was talking about soul accomplishments. We could do a whole seminar on soul accomplishments, but I thought it would be wonderful to, in your breakout rooms with several people, to take a moment to contemplate, one or two of your greatest soul accomplishments and to honor yourself for them. Now, I want to make it clear what these are. This is not, I finished a book. That's not what we're talking about. It's not, I had the courage, I redecorated my room. It's not, I lost weight. These are outer accomplishments, but soul accomplishments are things that happen deep within you. And I want to give you some examples of a few of mine that I had included in Soul Shifts when I introduced this idea, so you understand what they are, right? So one of my great soul accomplishments, probably one of my greatest, is that I have kept my heart fully open to the fullness of loving, no matter how many times I've been hurt or betrayed or had to let go of a dream, and have never shut down emotionally for even one moment of my life, no matter what's happened. That's a huge soul accomplishment, you see. I'll give you another example. Another soul accomplishment I'm very proud of is that many times in my life, I have turned down opportunities for fame, more money, certain kinds of notoriety, when the project or the person was not in alignment with the highest for me, even though it meant having less of an income, a much less glamorous lifestyle than most of my colleagues, believe it or not. But if something didn't feel fully right in my heart, knowing that my own integrity, my own authenticity was more important than any material gain. Another soul accomplishment is taking time away from my career over decades to study with my spiritual teachers, to deepen my own wholeness, to cultivate the expansion of my consciousness, even when it meant, again, turning down opportunities not being included in certain things, making less money, slowing down the process of writing the exact amount of books people are supposed to write in a career like mine, but making my own spiritual process so important. These are the kinds of soul accomplishments that we all have. It could be having the courage to really forgive somebody. It could be finally looking at and taking responsibility for having blamed people in your life for things and looking at your part in it that completely changed the tableau and the picture of how you look at life. It could have meant making the decision to take care of a parent who was ill and heal at the end of their lifetime. So I want to invite you to, in your breakout rooms, take just a few minutes each and talk about what was one of your soul accomplishments that you're now contemplating, and why was it a soul accomplishment? See why. So don't tell stories. It's tempting. Don't talk about things on the outside, but really think about it. These may be things you've never thought about, you've never talked about. Maybe they're things that you've done as part of your growth and you've never thought of them as a soul accomplishment. So take some time, go deep, see if you can find something. If you feel more apt to do this, maybe you can say in your group, I'd like to go first, so that other people have a little time to think about it. Don't feel bad about the fact that you maybe can't think of anything right away. Being willing to even say that is a soul accomplishment, but focus on the inside, not on the outside. Then we're going to come back and I'd love to hear some of your soul accomplishments. It's very empowering to others for people to understand it. And when you really see how many soul accomplishments you've had, your whole sense of yourself will completely change. People are, all right, let me just look at what's happening here. All right, wonderful. Hi, everybody. I think most of you are back right now. I hope that you were able to recognize and honor a soul accomplishment. This is something you can actually do every single day as you go through the day. Every day you have soul accomplishments because of inner decisions you make, things you choose to do or feel. And this is a wonderful practice. But I would love to hear about some of the soul accomplishments that you came up with, how it felt to talk about those, and just do some sharing about those things and why that was a soul accomplishment. So you can raise your hand in the bottom of your screen. There's a little, at the bottom right, there's a little blue hand. So if you would like to share and you hit the blue hand, I will see that you are there, and would love to just have, you don't have to have anything brilliant to say. You can just share about what that was like or what it's been like to do this process, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Let's call on Tracy Greenland.
Hi, Barbara. This was so beautiful that I was able to be in one breakout room and I got teleported to another breakout room with the four of us. It was myself and another person. And we just had such an amazing conversation. And one of my soul accomplishment was actually the day that I got my cosmic alarm clock that was waking up with Soul Shifts, the book that changed my life. And when I was able to go to Breakthrough and meet with you, Barbara, and be able to be one of your students and been studying with you for the last 5 years. And when you read the prayer for the planet blessing today, it just expanded me so much more. And it was such another gift and soul accomplishment for me, because it is a prayer that is so deep in my heart that I get to share with other seekers every day as your student. And there's just so many other soul accomplishments, but it's been such a gift to be here and to really sit with other seekers, and it's wonderful to hear their accomplishments as well. So thank you.
Thank you, sweetheart. I love that. I love that your love was too big for one breakout room and the universe had to have you share it. I guess if we had kept going, you would have just been transported to all the breakout rooms to give them your darshan or something. Thank you, sweetheart. It's beautiful. Let's go to Pam Jenner.
One of my big soul accomplishments is the wonderful shift from how I was with my brother when my mom passed away. It's such a big one that I now am friendly with my brother and on a much better terms with my other siblings than I was before. It shifted and changed my life with my family, my blood family, and finding a whole bunch of spirit people that are now my family as well. And that shift was huge as well. And you, for sure, are the biggest part of my life.
So you're talking about having a harmonious experience with your brother when your mom passed, but that's what happened on the outside because of the soul accomplishment. But what was it inside that shifted, that allowed that to happen? Because the inside is where the real soul accomplishment is.
The inside was not being angry at myself and how I interacted, finding out that my bitterness and anger was from the past and how I behaved with him, and coming forward from that point and learning more about how it is that I behave inside, not outside, because the reaction is how I behaved on the outside. It was what I did on the inside to shift it to harmony for myself inside.
This is such a beautiful example of healing some of the old wounds we have that we don't think other people can see or feel, but we're vibrating it out even by the way we say hello. It can have all kinds of little arrows in it. And so you doing that healing and being willing to release kind of the ego hit of blaming somebody and choosing love with him instead, that's absolutely a beautiful soul accomplishment. And I know it helped your mom to rest in peace more. Moms want all the kids to get along, and it's not always the case with your karmic family. So that's beautiful, sweetheart. Thank you for sharing that. Love it. These are beautiful. Let's go to Justine Murray.
I was just thinking, Barbara, that one of my big ones too is around not looking to the outside, but as you said this morning, looking from the inside and realizing how much of my life I've lived, looking at how other people are going to react to something that I do or say or am. And my soul accomplishments that I look at now are when I can go inside and recognize what I'm seeing and feeling and knowing, and have compassion for that, and come from that place, no longer tied into our accounting on or counting for what the reaction is going to be from the outside. And I know that I'm there when I feel good and strong and vibrating what I truly think is the truth. And then I also know that I'm there because then I can also recognize that vibration in others.
This is beautiful. You know what you're describing, one definition of authenticity. Honoring what you see and you know and you feel, as I say in Soul Shifts, your own wisdom, and not editing and I don't mean not being nice or packaging things nicely, but not editing, chopping, sacrificing, suppressing the truth, or concerned about somebody or whatever it is, your opinion, because you want to make sure that you're not disapproved of. This is one of the biggest ways we imprison ourselves, all of us. We don't realize how much of a habit it is, usually from childhood, that we're not free to not just say, but to even know what you feel. Even sometimes it doesn't matter if maybe it's somebody you can't say something to, but to know what you feel or to know what's true, that allows you to be at peace with yourself. It takes a lot of energy to stuff down. So I love that. It's a beautiful soul accomplishment. Thank you, sweetheart. Let's go to
Barbara, it's Diana. I'm interrupting because we have a member with us from Paris who was at the very first meeting of the Inside Edge. Her name is Pamela Shandell. And it would be great if we could spotlight her right now.
Why don't you say who it is and call on them?
Her name is Pamela Shandell. Rebecca, can you, hi, there she is, okay.
Okay,
Hi,
hello.
Paula.
Hi, everybody. Okay, unmute myself, something. Okay, great. Hi, my heart is full and this is an extraordinary experience. I'm gonna have to leave because it's the evening here in France, just outside of Paris. I'm so grateful to be able to join all of you, and maybe you'll become an international meeting once a month or something, whatever. It's wonderful. Hi, Brooke, how you doing? So, okay, Soul Shift. And Barbara, I've seen you so many years ago in the Inside Edge, and God bless you, and you're doing fabulous work, fabulous work. It was very funny because you said, the first thing you said was, don't talk about completing a book as your soul shift. I canceled that. Soul shift. I drove a motorcycle across the United States from New York to California, and I was way up in the mountains, and I went to a meditation retreat at Tassajara, and I was driving down the mountain. It was all dirt road, very curvy, and I crashed right into a van bus. And then I got out of my body, or I didn't. I saw my body on the ground and my motorcycle on the ground. Now, before this event, I had spent all my life with my ego. I'm going to do this. This is going to be done. And it was, it was rough. It was rough. And then I felt coming in me, it was a white light, in all this incredible peace. And with the realization that my life is not my puny little fists and my puny little ego. It's a dance. It's a dance with the universe, with love. Together, a life can go forward. And that was a soul shift. I mean, that shifted me. And so my life has, there are many adventures in my life, maybe because I'm flowing with it. And it allows me to relax more and be grateful more and to share more. So I guess that's my soul shift. So I could say thank you for this horrific motorcycle accident, but thank you. So
It was a huge forceful recalibration from spirit. And I love what you said about the dance with the universe. Our most intimate relationship is with spirit, not the idea of spirit somewhere, but the aliveness of the divine, of that inner wisdom inside of us. And it needs to be thought of exactly as you said, as an intimate relationship. Are we open to that relationship? Are we pushing it away? Just like a relationship with a person. And when we're in that, it is an inner dance. I love that you use dance. I always talk about dancing with the divine. I'm so happy you're okay. And I'm so happy you're sending us your blessings from France, and we're sending them back. And thank you, Diana, for introducing her to be able to share all this. It's really beautiful. It's an honor. Let's go to Raven. Hi, Raven.
Hello, Barbara. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So good to see you. I actually, in the breakout room, I think I was a bit general, recognizing that, but I don't often, or I haven't often really acknowledged all the time that I've taken of my life, the past 11 years, to work with you and to study and to just go deeper and be willing to keep looking at things over and over and over again. As you were talking about the responsibility that we have to rebirth ourselves over and over again, I feel like I've actually been doing that and will continue to do that, but it is a choice. So that's how I would actually make my general soul accomplishment more specific.
It's a beautiful thing to honor our emotional courage to see ourselves with true eyes. And I know you're an acupuncturist, and you're moving into people's energy fields all the time. And I think that as a helper, as a healer, it's such an incredible soul accomplishment to heal yourself first, so that when you're touching someone, when you're putting your needles in, when you're teaching them things, when you're doing your yoga classes, that you're vibrating from your highest. You're not just teaching something or sticking things in somebody, but you're also there in a space, a vibrational space of healing because of the ways you've healed inside. And I would just offer to everybody that offers healing to anybody in any way, don't self-sacrifice. Don't forget yourself. Don't put yourself last. Don't think, I don't have time to take care of myself or to go deep because I'm helping everybody else. It's a great place to hide being a helper. And when you walk into someone's presence and you've done your own inner healing, that itself is going to have such an effect on them. So I honor you, Raven, for healing yourself, then becoming an acupuncturist, and sending you so much love in North Carolina. To Laura Mullins.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Laura.
So good to see you. I loved the breakout room. I'm here in Maine, on the coast of Maine, and my two breakout room people were in California, and I just think this is so wonderful.
I love it.
Wonderful. We have so much to learn from one another. But I at first thought, well, gee, this is really hard, And I've been a student of yours for a few years, and I know that the shifts have been happening, but it was hard to put into words at first. And then once I did, the floodgates opened, and I thought, oh, I got a lot of these. This is good stuff. But the one that I really wanted to share to the group was my middle daughter was supposed to graduate from college 2 weeks ago, and she came home at the beginning of March when all this started to unfold, and was typically a very calm and loving young woman, was just reeling with anger and felt cheated and was really tough to be around. And it was a rough road, but what I saw in myself was that I didn't jump into the mud pit. I stood back and asked myself, what is this showing me? What is happening here? And I was able to get to a point she got through all of her finals, and I have 2 other college kids home. It was like a boarding house here, and the grocery bill was unbelievable. But anyway, I had a little makeshift graduation ceremony for her last Sunday on the back deck, and I got up and gave a graduation speech because there was no one else to do it. And I just said, I am so grateful for these last 9 weeks with you, Carly, because you're 22 years old, and I wouldn't have had this time with you, living with you in my home and experiencing all of this with you. You would have been off doing your thing with your friends, and probably if I went to your graduation ceremony at your college, I wouldn't have even seen you because you were going to be focusing on saying goodbye to your friends. And I was able to see the beauty in it instead of the chaos and the sadness and the loss and all of it. And I just embraced that. I thought, this is such a beautiful gift in all of this.
It's a beautiful gift. And again, like I said before to Pam, your inner soul accomplishment in that moment was, as you said, not sliding into the negativity, not feeling victimized yourself, but to saying, where is the gift in this? Where's the perfection in the imperfection? What am I supposed to learn? Being a true seeker in that moment, trusting spirit and saying, show me what I'm supposed to learn. and you did learn it. You transmuted the whole thing. I'm so proud of you. It's a beautiful thing. And it's not just, I did a party for my daughter. You could have done that and inside been seething. It had nothing to do with that. You shifted inside. And out of that came all these beautiful blossoms of love and sweetness. And, you know, she will remember it always. And you're absolutely right. You gave yourself a gift. You gave her a gift. And you really rose up. That's the soul accomplishment. It's a beautiful thing that you shared with everybody. Thank you.
That was wonderful, Barbara. Well, thank you, Laura. That was really profound. And Barbara, I get to thank you for your great soul accomplishment of keeping your heart open. That has been such a gift to the world and to the Inside Edge. We are so profoundly grateful to you for being with us today and helping us set a milestone. And I want to remind people that the Inside Edge is a nonprofit. It's a 501c3. Any donations are deductible, and they allow us to continue bringing the great minds of the world to you.
I just wanted to take the opportunity to introduce myself. We are honored to have so many guests today. It is a milestone. It's a milestone because we have reached corners of the world. We have gone global in the last this is our third online event officially going onto this platform. And just like that beautiful quote from Barbara about our responsibility to continue to reinvent over and over, the Inside Edge is an organizational soul shift right now. We are in an organizational soul shift, and we have opened our hearts and our vision to attract just the right people to be with us in this journey. And you guys have showed up today. And so I just wanted to thank you for being magnetized to Barbara and to this group, and to connecting with other people who have the same kind of passion and purpose in developing and evolving continually their own souls, their own consciousness. It's so wonderful when we see our soul family and we meet new people in our soul family. And the Inside Edge has been doing this for a long time, but we're called now to do it in new ways. And so you can be part of this journey with us. And I just want to invite you, to check in with yourself. And if you want to continue to have life-enhancing, soul-supporting speakers, and more than that, community to support the light bearers in each of us being even brighter. That's what we do at Inside Edge. And we will be giving you a follow-up email. You'll get a recording link from what we've gotten to hear today, so you can rehear these beautiful pieces of the morning. All right, so we just have, I know we want to keep our time, honor our time today. We have 8 or 9 minutes left. And so what I'd like to suggest is, if you can stay with us for this time, I would like to spotlight all the beautiful souls that have joined us today. Some of us haven't had the opportunity to speak directly. So what I would make my heart really happy is to just each of us send love to each other as we see a face coming up on the screen. Just really get in touch with that deep presence within yourself and send a shot of blessing and love to that person in our circle today. And we'll go through, so everyone has just 3 or 4 seconds of getting to see this person and connecting with them heart to heart. And so I'm going to ask if Rebecca will guide the technology with this and put on some music if she'd even like to. I'm not sure, but we'll just see. Rebecca, are you there?
I am here.
And thank you for being on this journey. It's really like learning to ride a white steed. We're really, this Zoom thing, we're all in this together, and we're modeling evolving technology competence. So thank you for being patient. But I think once we can do this, it will be fun. So each of just feel present and feel connected to each person as they come up on the screen.
Okay.
I see you, Rebecca. Rebecca's beautiful. Thank you. It's beautiful that you're with us. Tracy. Elizabeth, thank you. Jim, thank you for coming. Nice to see you. An old member is recycled back. Thank you, Bill. Much love to you, Bill. And Joanne, former president, beautiful soul. Thank you for being with us again. Dear Patty, beautiful Patty. Thank you for your glowing presence. Love you. Sharon, my dear Sharon, my friend for 40 years. Thank you for joining from Arizona and for always being there for every soul shift in my life. I love you. Hi, Lynette. Love to you, Lynette. Thanks for being with us. It's always a joy to see your face. Hello, thank you for being with us, I think for the first time. Hope you come back. Love your beautiful smile, thank you. Thank you for being here. Love to see you. And Brooke, nice to see you, Brooke. From Palm Desert, Palm Springs. Thank you for being here. And Gail, a new member. Lovely to see you, Gail. Blessings to you, my friend. Heidi, welcome. The beautiful face and joyful smile. Thank you for adding to the energy today with your presence. And Heidi, thank you for being here. Thanks for taking the leap of faith and coming to this place you didn't know what was going to happen. Appreciate it. Carlos, lovely to see some more male energy with us this morning. Thank you for jumping in and being with us. Hi, Ewan. Love you, Ewan. Thank you for jumping onto the Inside Edge board recently and for helping guide the leadership of this next organizational soul shift. Love you. Oh, Laura, thank you for your lovely sharing. Really heartfelt and touched me today. Thank you so much for your presence and your love. Thank you, Donna. Hope I get to see you again. I'd like to hear more from you. Lovely, lovely smile you have. Thank you for being here. Yana, thank you for coming and for just following your heart and finding us and being with us. Hope to see you again. Is it Lara? Thank you for being here. Sorry, I didn't say it right, but I can tell you'll forgive me because I can see that beautiful smile. I love that you're here. Thank you. And Nalu, thank you. Wow, beautiful. Lovely that I get to see that beautiful face. And look at that smile. What a glow. Beautiful, beautiful person. I hope you come back and let us get to know you better. And Helen. Well, Helen's having a sun bath while we're talking. Isn't she creative? Oh, thank you. Thank you for showing us what's possible to be outside and for your joyful smile. Tatiana. Hi, Tatiana. Thanks for being there quietly in the background, but your presence is felt. Appreciate all of the beauty that you're adding by your presence. And there's Rob. Rob sideways. Hi, Rob. Thank you for joining us. Love to you. Damien, love to you. Thank you for sharing your beautiful wife with us this morning too, and for being here. All of your glorious presence, quiet and strong, always supporting and rooting us on. Thank you so much. And Lisa, another board member, thank you for being with us today. I know you always bring so much to us as a collective, and your love and your enthusiasm helps guide us always. Love you. And Rachel, hi Rachel, lovely to see you. Thank you for being here, for taking the leap of faith, for joining, bringing your presence to our beautiful circle today. And this is Frederica. Hi Frederica. Thank you for being here with us. I love the beautiful background of this bright blue and white. And I hope you come back and let us get to know you better. Justine. Hi, Justine. Thank you for being here and for sharing earlier. It was lovely that you jumped in and modeled really being present and sharing from the heart. Appreciate you. Angela. Hi, Angela. Quietly there in the background, but your beautiful smile and radiance is felt. Appreciate that you're here. I think this is everybody. Thank you for forgiving us for not being perfect here, and I hope you could feel. I was just really moved seeing all those beautiful faces with today, and wow, how amazing that we're from all over the world and all together. Last thanks, a round of applause for Barbara. Thank you so much, Barbara, for all you did.